A massive swarm of Russian drones suddenly crossed into Polish airspace under the cover of night. Sirens went off, the skies filled with moving shadows, and the world held its breath to see what would unfold next. It was not just a single strike or a minor provocation, but a coordinated attempt to push the limits of security in Europe. The events that followed became a demonstration of both offensive innovation and defensive strength, and they carried lessons for every nation watching. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Future X USA channel. Please make sure to subscribe and like this video as we dive deep into what happened, why it matters, and what it tells us about the future of drone warfare. Russia launched dozens of drones in a massive incursion toward Poland, aiming to test the country's air defenses and to send a message to NATO. These drones, cheap but numerous, were meant to overwhelm radar systems and missile defenses by sheer volume. But Poland, backed by NATO technology, responded with precision. The story can be understood through different layers: how the drones looked from the outside, what was happening inside Poland's defense network, how each system performed under pressure, what safety measures protected civilians, and finally, what unique features made this battle so important. There is also the question of cost, not just in terms of money, but in terms of strategy and global stability. Let us explore all of this in detail. From the outside, the drone incursion appeared like a sudden storm. Imagine looking up at the night sky and seeing dark shapes flying low, buzzing engines carrying them silently across the border. To the untrained eye, it looked like chaos, a flood of mechanical birds cutting through the air in formation. The radar systems picked up dozens of small, fast-moving objects, each designed to slip past defenses. This was no random event. It was carefully calculated, and the image it created was one of an overwhelming swarm. The exterior of this event was dramatic, designed to intimidate not just Poland, but also NATO observers. The swarm was a showpiece of Russia's strategy: quantity over quality, cheap drones over expensive precision weapons, and shock value over subtlety. Inside Poland, however, the story looked entirely different. The interior systems of defense were not panicked. Instead, they were alert and coordinated. NATO early warning networks had already provided tracking data. Polish command centers were manned with trained officers who had drilled for such an event. Screens lit up with incoming flight paths, interception points, and real-time updates. Far from chaos, the interior of the response was calm, methodical, and ready. Communications flowed smoothly between radar stations, missile operators, and NATO partners. The inner workings of Poland's defensive shield proved that preparation is as important as technology itself. While the exterior showed a storm of drones, the interior revealed a storm of discipline and readiness. Performance under pressure is what separates theories from reality. The drones were fast, agile, and flying low to avoid radar. Some carried explosives capable of striking infrastructure. Others may have been decoys designed only to confuse and divide Poland's response. But the defensive systems performed beyond expectations. Anti-aircraft missiles locked onto targets with precision. Electronic warfare units jammed the communication links of certain drones, causing them to lose control and crash before reaching their objectives. Fighter jets were scrambled to chase down stragglers. Out of the swarm, more than 90% were destroyed before hitting any strategic targets. That level of interception is not just luck. It is the result of layered defense systems working together in harmony. The performance of both Russia's drones and Poland's defenses highlighted the contrast between cheap mass production and expensive high-tech resilience. Safety features in this event were crucial. Civilian lives were at stake, and Poland had built systems not just to fight, but also to protect. Sirens warned populations in potentially affected areas. Local authorities directed civilians to shelters. Communication channels kept people informed in real time. The defense network prioritized not only stopping the drones, but also minimizing risks to ordinary citizens. And the results spoke for themselves. While debris fell in some regions, there were no major civilian casualties reported. This proves that the safety net of modern defense goes beyond military strength. It includes public awareness, emergency response, and strong civil-military coordination. The success of Poland's safety measures turned what could have been a national tragedy into a demonstration of resilience. The unique selling point of this whole confrontation lies in what it revealed about modern warfare. Russia's use of swarm drones showed that the future of conflict may not always rely on expensive missiles or jets. A swarm of cheap, expendable machines can still cause chaos and force opponents to spend millions to stop them. On the other hand, Poland's response showed that advanced systems, when combined with readiness and coordination, can neutralize even large-scale threats. This clash was not only about drones and missiles, but also about psychological warfare. Russia wanted to project strength and unpredictability, while Poland wanted to project stability and control. In the end, Poland proved that a disciplined, layered defense can stand up against overwhelming numbers. A unique demonstration will now shape military thinking far beyond Eastern Europe. The question of cost is unavoidable. Each Russian drone may cost only a few tens of thousands of dollars to build. In contrast, each interceptor missile launched by Poland can cost hundreds of thousands, sometimes even millions. The financial equation seems tilted. One side spends cheap, the other spends dear. This is one of the greatest challenges of modern defense. Cheap weapons can drain expensive defenses over time. Yet the cost must also be measured in terms of credibility. Poland and NATO showed that they were willing to spend what was necessary to protect their territory and their people. That sends a message just as powerful as the financial imbalance. The price is high, but the price of inaction would have been far higher. As the dust settled, the conclusion became clear. Russia's massive drone incursion did not achieve its intended results. The drones were destroyed, Poland's defenses held, and NATO readiness was proven. The world saw both the power and the limits of drone warfare. For Russia, the attack was more symbolic than practical. For Poland, the defense was both practical and symbolic. It showed that they could protect their skies and that they could trust in their alliances. For NATO, it was a live demonstration that the systems they have invested in are not just theoretical. They work in real combat conditions. The event was more than a clash in the skies. It was a preview of the battles of tomorrow, where technology, cost, psychology, and strategy all combine in unpredictable ways. Looking forward, this incident will be studied in military academies and defense circles. It raises questions that will define the future. Are swarm drones the new face of conflict, or can advanced defenses always stay a step ahead? Will the economics of cheap attack versus expensive defense reshape strategy, or will innovation balance the scales? And perhaps most importantly, will nations learn the lesson that preparation, coordination, and resilience matter as much as hardware? The skies over Poland provided some answers, but they also opened the door to many more questions. This was not just a story of Poland and Russia. It was a story about the global future of warfare. It was about the clash of quantity versus quality, about the balance of fear and control, and about how nations respond when tested under pressure. Russia launched a massive drone incursion into Poland, but what happened next showed the world that defense is not just about weapons. It is about willpower, preparation, and the commitment to protect. And in this case, that commitment made all the difference. So, as always, thank you for watching. Stay tuned, stay informed, and do not forget to like and subscribe to Future X USA for more deep reviews of global events that shape our tomorrow.